So I figure I'm not just building myself a new computer, because what fun would that be? I'm building myself a whole new setup. And with that setup comes monitors. I present to you my new monitor. Corsair is proud to present their new Hydro X line of custom water cooling products. The new XG Vive series radiators offer the perfect balance of fin density and airflow to keep your loop cool and quiet. The XG7 water blocks feature full coverage cooling for your GPU, while also maintaining an aesthetically pleasing design, while the XC7 and XC9 CPU blocks keep all your modern CPUs nice and cool. To see the complete lineup of Hydro X cooling products from Corsair, click the link in the description below. I don't know what to call it. Like, it's not a monitor. It really is a monitor. It's monitor tech put into the form factor of a TV. I want to redo my gaming room. It's one of those things where I don't want to put a TV in there either, because although companies like LG have now advertised that they are G-Sync compatible, TVs, especially OLEDs, have terrible response time. They might have okay refresh rates, but for the most part, you're not getting anything better than like a 60 hertz. This guy right here is not only 65 inches and G-Sync, it is a 120/144 hertz 4K HDR gaming panel that just happens to be the size of a TV. So this is kind of cool because it sort of serves two purposes for my build, or my setup in my new home, that I have. This whole table rocked when I did that. It was all, I'm gonna get down. What I started to say was, my quote unquote man cave gaming room type thing, someone's gonna get hurt today. That's how hard these things are. What I started to say about 16 times now is that I'm doing a whole setup in my house. I have a bedroom that I've turned into my home office slash game room, more of a game room. I don't do work at home anymore. And this will be my first time getting to set it up for purely the only reason is to go into this room and just be like, this is so cool. Computers and TVs and consoles. I do some console gaming, so does my daughter. So this is like the first piece of it. And we're building Nebula as like that centerpiece PC for that space. This is gonna be literally like the centerpiece now. Since these BFGDs were announced 3 or 4 years ago, I've wanted to get my hands on one. Dude, it's HDR 1000, so it's 1000 nits, it's 144 hertz. The idea here is that I should have done this on the floor. Help. Now, obviously you're gonna be seeing Phil in the reflection at some point of this. We're breaking some of that fourth wall.
Actually, the anti-glare is really good.
If you guys are curious about power draw, one of the things that you always get with TVs is power draw ratings and all that sort of stuff. So it's 127 watts, or on average, depending on however many hours they base the usage off of, that's 185 kilowatts per hour, or per kilowatt hours per year. That times whatever your average electricity rate is gives you a ballpark of what this would cost. It gets an A rating in terms of energy efficiency. Not the most efficient panel on the market, but that's okay. This is about badassery and not about how many pennies can we pinch by the end of the year. Also too, they do give you a color calibration report. If you wanna know more about this or what the actual report looks like, I'll just have Phil put up a still that you guys can kind of take a look at if you're a complete panel nerd like I am. In fact, it's 95% color DCI-P3. So anyway, a couple things we gotta take apart here. It ships with these foam pieces to kind of protect the corners.
That's so unnerving, dude. It's just like,
dude, it's like flypaper. I do need to keep these intact though. The sad part is I have to rebox this when we're done because I need to transport it, like I said, to my house, and I don't, should I put this together sticky side? Oh crap. Oh, that's fine. In terms of what comes in the box, let's see. So we get ASUS VIP member notice. That's a lot of information to be a VIP. Welcome to the elite Republic of Gamers community. The unboxing manual that's inside the box, in the box. It's in a box in a box to tell you how to take it out. Do we get a cable? Because the problem with DisplayPort is this is DisplayPort 1.4, which is the latest standard. And I've bought high refresh rate, like 1.4 cables before off of Amazon that are listed as 1.4. Hooked it up to like my LG, and did not get HDR enabled because for whatever reason, it wasn't the right spec, even though it was 1.4. So we do get, this is our USB 3.0 extension. This is an HDMI cable. It is HDMI 2.0. This is a power cable. So they don't give you DisplayPort. Given the cost of this thing, I think they could have provided a 1.4 DisplayPort cable because that's the only way you're gonna unlock all the features of it by hooking it up to undoubtedly a 2080 Ti, preferably 2 of them, which kind of sucks because now we have panels that need 2 graphics cards to truly push the amount of pixels that are in here with HDR and 144 Hertz when overclocked or 120 native. Well, 60 native, 120 if enabled, 144 if overclocked. But of course, developers are just like, we're not doing SLI anymore, so we're gonna probably only get 60. All right, so here's the back side. I know there's a little bit of a shadow, sorry about that. So you get a joystick control here to navigate menus. You have other buttons that do various things, obviously, on the screen. What I like is that they're alternating. You can see where the peak of the button is on a different side. So you can always kind of tell sort of where you're touching. You've got, as I mentioned over here, your 4 HDMI 2.0s. You got a single DisplayPort 1.4. You've got a optical cable that can go out to soundbars and such. We've got our USB 3.0 hub adapter right there, 2 USB 3.0 USBs. Power supply is internal in this, so there's no brick to worry about. A lot of TVs, you plug them in and then you've got an inline brick because to make the TV super thin, like the OLEDs and stuff from LG or the QLEDs or stuff from Samsung and Sony, they always put an inline brick because they want the panel to be as thin as possible. This is first and foremost just a big, giant monitor. And they're like, just put the power supply inside the panel. I'm fine with that. Once you mount this on the wall, which does obviously have your TV mount standard spacing, so you can use any TV mount bracket you want for this. And this is a lot lighter than any OLED, so it's gonna be pretty easy to mount. It does also have active cooling, and then massive vents that go all the way around the top and all the way around on this side right here to try and keep as much heat exhausted from this as possible. Now the base already comes pre-mounted on this. The thing that sucks about buying a TV is you take out the TV and then you need help putting the base on, or you have to like take that awkward moment of putting it face down on like a couch cushion or something to attach everything to it. And then they never have the screen fully protected. They're always just the edges that are protected. And so then you're all worried about scratching your panel. Well, this comes already attached. You can take it out and set it on something upright so you don't damage it. In terms of cable management, since your cables are all coming out here, you do have this guy, which just sort of snaps in right there. There we go. And then you can run your cables like through there and up and into the mount. The astute people probably already noticed I put this on upside down. It goes like that. It's not too much else to talk about in terms of the walk around. Build quality. I mean, it feels like a TV, to be honest. It actually feels like, in terms of thickness though, it reminds me of the old LCD, the CCFL LCD TVs, because those were always thicker because you had a bigger lighting element inside. So if you want this to be like ultra thin, but then all those features, you're not getting it. All right, anyway, 2080 Ti in this thing, 9900K. You're not hooking up a 2060 to this, okay? I'm sorry.
I mean, you could if you wanted a really big slideshow.
No, you're not. You're not.
It's like Jay
no.
doesn't-
All right, here we go. First TV boot. Did you turn on?
Did you plug it in? There's a power cable dangling.
Hey! Whoa, that is the hot. Wow, that was so high def. So this has all the standard Swift stuff that you would expect. It has overdrive. You can, which is how you get 4K 144 at 422 YC BRC2, whatever it is. You do get 444 10-bit though if you keep it at a lower refresh rate. So you get the benefits of a cinema panel for movies and such with all the gaming benefits. And I'm sorry, other TV manufacturers, your gaming mode is whoa.
Oh, it is that 4K.
Whoa. It's like, hold on, what time? You're in a recycle bin. You know what time is it? Jeez. And yes, we didn't activate Windows, okay? Wow. I'm blind. Did I mention it's 1,000 nits? So there is a little bit of vignetting. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera. If you look at it from the side, there is a little bit of, I don't want to say uniformity issue in terms of the white. I don't know if there's a break-in period of this panel either. I really don't. But yeah, I just want to point that out right away. There is vignetting around the very edges. Now, one of the nice things about it having a thicker profile like it does is the fact that they can fit bigger speakers in there. So what you're hearing right now is just some jazz music playing on the downfire speakers that are bouncing off of the desk. Obviously, you guys can't hear the quality of them. It's a lav mic picking it up, but it's a TV. It's still a TV, so it's definitely giving you the type of sound you would expect out of a TV, which is better than any built-in speakers in a monitor. So we kind of figured what would be funnier than trying out Doom with this music. So I mean, this is why I say you would strap a 2080 Ti to it. We are getting 150 FPS. This looks so good! One of the interesting things about going with a 1000 nit HDR panel is just the dynamic range you get. Now this is not an HDR title. I'll turn on an HDR title next, we'll do Battlefield 5. But even in something like Doom running Vulkan, I'm still gonna, right now I'm gonna say it, I've said it 100 times, I'm gonna keep saying it until developers listen. Vulkan is amazing. So more people need to start using Vulkan and screw Microsoft and stop using DirectX. Jesus. Anyway, so even though we don't have HDR enabled, it is still capable of getting pretty damn bright. Why don't you allow me to demonstrate? So you're playing Doom and you're just walking around and then suddenly there's an explosion. So this is realistically how most people I think would play. In a room that's fairly dim like this. I wasn't expecting that one. So being such a bright panel like this, you get some serious immersion. Like right now I'm in a dark room and I'm gonna walk into a lava room. It's like So now we're playing some World of Warcraft Classic, and I think a giant panel like this has always made most sense personally to me than playing Warcraft. And this is a bit of a throwback for me because Brian, my best friend and operating officer, he always played Warcraft with a TV. He had a Philips TV, and it was hilarious. And I feel like this is where it just makes the most sense, to be honest. You can literally go inside the World of Warcraft. The other thing we're noticing right here, though, is you might notice the brightness is kind of coming up and down. But because HDR is on, I don't think we can disable the local dimming. So what you get is kind of like where it's having a hard time making sense of the rain. That's a lot of pixels sort of moving that are very contrasty. I think because of the HDR, we can't disable the variable backlight, which you can do when you're in SDR mode. So one of the biggest problems that you're going to encounter with a screen this big is your peripheral vision is completely useless. At least with like a 24, 27, or even a 34-inch panel, your peripheral can still make sense of what's happening in the corners. I was just sitting here going, okay, load already, and then way down there it was like press spacebar to continue. I'm like, oh. So this is an HDR title. This is Rainbow Six. It looks like Rainbow Six. Give me a break. Resident Evil 2. And then this is the Fourth Survivors. It's one of the modes that you unlock when you've beaten like both sides of the game. I mean, the HDR is pretty good. It's pretty dark over here, pretty bright over there. You can see the detail, like way over there. Right, way over there. This is so good looking. Oh, he goes up the stairs. I'm a commando. Watch. I gotta go up these stairs. Shaking his chips. Oh man. I forgot. I hate the dog one. Ah! I do miss the Battlefield 3.
Yeah.
Aw, see that local dimming's back. You can see the halo bright. The plane is so big. Whoa, it's inverted. We're good. We're good. I don't have my controller. Dude, I'd be able to actually see ground targets. Okay, so yeah, this looks fantastic, as I would expect a panel like this too. This is so cool looking. Look at the detail. Dude, I know how to do that effect. It's so pretty. It's just so pretty. It's so pretty. So anyway, this was just sort of, like I said, an unboxing and first look and a first test of a panel that the technology that's been incorporated with NVIDIA here in G-Sync and the BFGD, or big format gaming displays, is several years in the making, at least 3 that I know of. And the fact that Asus was willing to send us one is freaking awesome, because this now forced me to kick my butt into gear and actually do my home setup like I was talking about. I'm gonna be building around this. I want a deeper desk. I might actually convert my closet into a cubby that everything is in, where the wall, like the TV's mounted inside there, so I can get farther away and have sort of like a, not a hidden away gaming setup, but makes the room feel bigger by utilizing the closet, which I don't plan on, like right now it's just storage, a bunch of crap in there that I don't need. Yeah, so a huge thank you to Asus for sending us this. You guys can learn more about this panel by looking down in the links below. I'll put a link to this particular panel. And I am well aware, guys, that the bigger the screen, kind of like the worse it makes you at like frames or FPS and stuff like that, or first-person shooters. There's just too much happening in the peripheral that you can completely not see. That's why we keep missing buttons to click, because they're outside of a periphery. This is just about having something cool that's giant and has all the features of a gaming panel built into something that's the format of a TV. It kind of fills two needs without really having to truly compromise. The only things you have to compromise is like how close you sit to it, and I do want to get farther back. So we'll figure that all out. If you guys want to see a setup, kind of a series where I go through all that for the first time, trying to truly set up like a home nerd cave type of deal, then do me a favor, send me links on Twitter or comment down below with links to your favorite battle stations. I know a lot of you guys go to the subreddit, Battle Station subreddit, and I am not that creative when it comes to this sort of stuff. So I need help. Please help me figure out what I should do for my home setup. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one. And that just gives you an idea of how big it is. I mean, look. Like, now I know why cats lay on top of computers. I can't remember the model number. PG65, what? All right, so this is the Aju. I huff too much paint doing Mark's build. All right, so this is the Asus, what? Ugh, can I do push-ups on this? I probably shouldn't try, huh? Instead of the